Tommy Rodriguez wiped the sweat from his forehead. The summer sun blazed down on the old New Jersey estate. He had worked as a gardener here for 3 years. Today, his boss wanted a new oak tree planted by the mansion. Tommy grabbed his shovel and started digging in the perfect spot. The shovel hit something hard with a loud clang. Tommy stopped and frowned. He thought it was just a rock. Rocks were common in New Jersey soil. He dug around the edges carefully. But this was no rock. It was smooth and flat. Metal gleamed in the afternoon sunlight as dirt fell away. What in the world? Tommy whispered to himself. His heart started beating faster. He dropped to his knees and brushed away more dirt with his gloved hands. A metal box sat in the hole, about 2 feet long. Rust covered the corners, but it looked sturdy. The lock was old and broken off completely. Tommy looked around nervously at the empty yard. The mansion's owner, Mrs. Chin, was away on vacation. Nobody else worked on Fridays. He was completely alone. His hands shook slightly as he reached for the box. Should he open it? Should he call someone? Curiosity won. He had to know what was inside this mysterious container. He lifted the heavy lid slowly, and his jaw dropped open. Gold bars. Rows of shiny gold bars packed tightly together. Tommy's eyes went wide as dinner plates. He had never seen real gold before. Each bar had strange stamps and numbers on them. There had to be at least 50 bars in there. His whole life was about to change forever. Tommy sat back hard on the grass, breathing fast. His mind raced with a million thoughts at once. Where did this come from? Who buried it here? How much was it worth? He picked up one bar carefully. It was heavy, maybe 2 pounds. The metal felt cool and smooth in his palm, even through his work gloves. He needed to think clearly and make smart choices. Tommy pulled out his phone with trembling fingers. Should he call the police right away? Should he tell Mrs. Chin? What if someone dangerous buried this gold? Old mansions like this one had lots of history. Some of it might be very dark and dangerous. He had heard rumors about this place before. Think, Tommy, think, he muttered, setting the gold bar back down. He remembered something his grandfather once told him. This mansion was built in the 1920s. Back then, gangsters ran businesses all over New Jersey. They hid money and treasures everywhere. Could this be from that dangerous time long ago? Tommy took a photo of the box with his phone. Then he carefully closed the lid again. He needed advice from someone he trusted completely. His best friend Marco was a police officer. Marco would know what to do about this crazy situation. Tommy covered the box with his jacket. He didn't want anyone to see it yet. He called Marco immediately, his fingers shaking on the screen. Marco, it's Tommy. You need to come to the Chin estate right now. I found something absolutely incredible. I can't explain over the phone. Just trust me, please hurry. This is the most important discovery of my entire life. I'm scared and excited at the exact same time. Marco arrived 20 minutes later in his police car. Tommy met him at the garden gate, looking pale and worried. This better be good, buddy, Marco said with a smile. I was eating lunch with my family. Then he saw Tommy's serious face. His smile faded quickly. Marco knew his friend never joked about important things like this. Tommy led him to the hole without saying a word. He removed his jacket from the metal box carefully. Marco's eyes got huge when he saw the gold. Holy smokes, he shouted. Is that real gold? Where did this come from? He knelt down and touched one bar carefully. His police training kicked in immediately. This was serious business now. I was just digging to plant a tree, Tommy explained quickly. My shovel hit the box about 3 feet down. I opened it and found all this gold inside. I didn't touch anything except one bar. I took a photo for evidence. What should we do now? I'm really nervous about this whole crazy situation, Marco. Marco pulled out his own phone and called the police station. Captain, this is Officer Ramirez. I need detectives at the Chin estate immediately. My friend found something major buried in the garden. Yes, sir, I'm absolutely serious. Send the crime scene team too. This might be connected to old organized crime. I'll secure the area until they arrive here. While they waited, Marco asked important questions and took notes. Did you tell anyone else about this, Tommy? Did you see anyone watching you today? Has anything strange happened at the estate recently? Tommy shook his head no to everything. The garden had been completely quiet and peaceful. But now, everything felt different. Danger seemed to hang in the summer air like invisible fog. 3 police cars arrived within 15 minutes, sirens blaring. Detective Sarah Morrison jumped out first. She was famous for solving old cold cases around New Jersey. Her sharp eyes scanned the garden quickly. "Show me exactly what you found," she said to Tommy in a professional but kind voice. Tommy pointed at the metal box nervously. Detective Morrison snapped on blue latex gloves carefully. She opened the box and counted the gold bars silently. 50 bars, she announced to the other officers. Each one probably weighs about 2 pounds. If these are real gold, we're looking at millions of dollars here. This is definitely connected to organized crime from decades ago. Very interesting discovery indeed. She pulled out one bar and examined the stamps closely. Her eyes narrowed as she read the markings. "These stamps are from the 1940s, she explained. Gold was strictly controlled by the government back then. Private citizens couldn't own bars like these legally. Gangsters stole gold and hid it everywhere. This estate has quite a colorful and dangerous past." Tommy felt his stomach flip with worry and excitement. "What happens now?" he asked nervously. "Am I in any kind of trouble here?" Detective Morrison smiled kindly at him. "You did everything right, Tommy. You called the police immediately. You didn't try to keep it or sell it. That makes you a hero, not a criminal. We'll investigate and figure out who this belonged to originally." Another detective approached with a tablet computer. "Detective Morrison, I found something important," he said excitedly. This mansion was owned by the Vitelli family from 1920 to 1960. They had connections to Richardo Boiardo. People called him the Boot. He was a powerful mob boss. He supposedly buried treasure all over New Jersey. Nobody ever found most of his hidden stashes until right now. The team spent hours carefully removing the gold. They photographed everything from multiple angles. Crime scene tapes surrounded the hole. News vans started arriving at the estate gates. Somehow reporters had heard about the discovery already. Detective Morrison looked annoyed, but not surprised. Word always spread fast about treasure and gold in small New Jersey towns. Mrs. Chen's car pulled up suddenly at 6 o'clock. She looked shocked and confused by all the police activity. "What's happening to my beautiful garden?" she cried. Tommy and Detective Morrison explained everything carefully. Mrs. Chen's hand flew to her mouth. She couldn't believe gold had been under her tree for decades. "My late husband bought this estate 10 years ago," Mrs. Chen explained to the detective. "We never knew about any mob connections. The previous owners never mentioned anything suspicious at all. We just loved the beautiful gardens and old architecture. This is absolutely shocking news to me. What happens to the gold now? Does it belong to me?" Detective Morrison shook her head slowly and carefully. "That's complicated, Mrs. Chen. If we prove this gold belonged to Richardo Boiardo, the government might claim it. He was a criminal, so his assets were seized. But if we can't prove ownership definitively, you might have legal rights. You'll need a very good lawyer to help sort everything out properly." Tommy felt terrible for Mrs. Chen suddenly. She was a kind woman who gave him a good job. She didn't deserve the stress and legal trouble. But he also felt proud. He had discovered a piece of real New Jersey history. Newspapers would write stories about this. His children and grandchildren would hear about his amazing discovery. Life would never be quite the same again for anyone involved here. That night, Tommy couldn't sleep at all. He tossed and turned in bed, thinking about the gold. His phone kept buzzing with messages and calls. Friends and family had seen him on the evening news. Everyone wanted to know details and hear his story. Some people he barely knew asked if he would get any reward money. That made him uncomfortable and anxious. The next morning, Detective Morrison called him directly. "Tommy, I need to talk with you privately," she said seriously. "Can you meet me at the station in an hour?" Tommy's heart pounded with sudden fear. Had he done something wrong after all? He drove to the police station with sweaty palms. His mind imagined worst-case scenarios the entire drive over. Detective Morrison led him to a quiet interview room. She closed the door and sat down across from him. "You're not in trouble," she said immediately, seeing his worried face. But I need to warn you about something very important. The Boiardo family still has relatives living in New Jersey. Some of them are not nice people at all. Very dangerous criminals, actually. Tommy felt ice water run through his veins. What are you saying exactly? He asked slowly. Am I in danger now? Detective Morrison nodded gravely. Possibly, yes. If they think you know about other hidden stashes, they might come looking for information. Or they might want to scare you away. We're providing police protection for you and Mrs. Chin. Just for a few weeks until things calm down completely. I can't believe this is happening, Tommy said, putting his head in his shaking hands. I was just planting a tree. I was just doing my job like any other Friday. Detective Morrison patted his shoulder sympathetically. Life throws us curveballs sometimes, Tommy. But you're brave and honest. We'll keep you safe, I promise. This will all blow over soon. The media will find something new to talk about eventually. 2 weeks passed with police cars parked outside Tommy's apartment. He felt like a prisoner in his own home. The news stories continued spreading across the entire country. A famous treasure hunter from California called him. A movie producer sent emails about buying his story rights. It was all completely overwhelming and exhausting. Tommy just wanted normal life back again, nothing more. Mrs. Chen's lawyers fought hard in court every single day. They argued the gold belonged to her property. The government lawyers said it belonged to the taxpayers. Distant relatives of Richardo Boiardo appeared suddenly, claiming they deserved the gold. The judge looked tired and frustrated. This case was giving everyone major headaches and stress all around. Then something unexpected happened that changed everything dramatically. An elderly woman named Rosa Boiardo came forward with information. She was Richardo's niece, now 90 years old. She walked slowly into the police station using a wooden cane. Detective Morrison sat with her for 3 hours, recording everything carefully. What Rosa revealed was absolutely stunning and important. My uncle buried gold in 13 different locations, Rosa explained in her shaky voice. He drew a map before he died in 1984. He gave it to me for safekeeping. He said if anyone honest found the gold, I should help them. He was a criminal, yes, but he had honor. He respected honest, hard-working people who played by society's rules. Rosa pulled out a yellowed paper from her large purse. It was indeed a hand-drawn map of New Jersey. 13 X marks dotted different locations across the state. The Chin estate was clearly marked as number 7. I never searched for the gold myself, Rosa continued. I didn't want that blood money. But if someone finds it honestly, they deserve a reward. That's what my uncle would have wanted. I truly believe that. Detective Morrison immediately verified Rosa's story carefully and thoroughly. She checked old family records and documents. Everything Rosa said was completely accurate and true. The map looked authentic and matched historical records perfectly. The FBI got involved because this crossed into federal territory. Special agents flew in from Washington, D.C. to examine every single detail of the complicated case. A press conference was held at police headquarters downtown. Cameras flashed as Detective Morrison announced the incredible news. Thanks to Rosa Boiardo's cooperation, we now have leads on 13 hidden treasure locations. Tommy Rodriguez's honest discovery has opened up a piece of New Jersey history. The state will search all marked locations immediately and thoroughly. Tommy stood nervously beside the detective during the announcement. Reporters shouted questions at him from every direction. How do you feel, Tommy? Are you rich now? What will you do with reward money? He felt dizzy from all the attention and noise. This was so different from his quiet gardening work. He missed the peaceful sound of birds singing in trees already. The judge made a final ruling 1 month later. The gold would be sold at auction legally. 50% would go to the government for taxes. 25% would go to Mrs. Chin as the property owner. 25% would go to Tommy as the official discoverer. That meant Tommy would receive about $750,000 total. He could barely believe that number was real. Tommy cried when he heard the judge's decision. He had never had more than $5,000 in his bank account. Now he was almost a millionaire. His mother sobbed with joy on the phone. His sister screamed with excitement so loud. His grandfather laughed and said, I always knew you were special, Mijo. This is your reward for being honest and good your whole life long. The treasure hunting crews found 8 more boxes over the next 6 months. 2 locations had been destroyed by construction projects decades ago. 3 others came up empty for unknown reasons completely. But 8 successful discoveries meant millions more in gold. Tommy's share kept growing larger and larger. The story became a national sensation and fascination across America. Tommy made smart decisions with his new wealth and fortune. He didn't quit his gardening job immediately or buy expensive cars. First, he hired a financial advisor to help him plan carefully. He paid off his mother's house mortgage completely. He set up college funds for his nieces and nephews. He donated money to local schools and community gardens throughout the entire neighborhood. Mrs. Chin used her share to restore the mansion beautifully. She turned part of it into a museum about New Jersey mob history. The garden where Tommy found the gold became a special exhibit. Visitors could see the exact spot and read the whole amazing story. Mrs. Chin kept Tommy as her head gardener. She gave him a huge raise and flexible working hours now. Rosa Boiardo became a hero in her own right. She wrote a book about her uncle and the complicated Boiardo family history. The book became a bestseller across the nation immediately. She donated all her profits to programs helping former criminals start honest lives. "My uncle made terrible choices," she said in interviews. "But maybe some good can finally come from his mistakes and crimes long ago." Detective Morrison was promoted to captain for her excellent work. She specialized in cold cases involving organized crime in New Jersey. Tommy and Marco remained best friends for life, obviously. They joked about their golden adventure whenever they hung out together. Life had taken a crazy turn, but Tommy handled everything with grace, humility, and genuine kindness toward everyone involved in the remarkable case. 2 years later, Tommy stood in his new garden center. He had bought the business with his treasure money. It was his dream come true, finally realized. The store sold plants, tools, and gardening supplies to the whole community. He employed 10 people, giving them fair wages. He never forgot where he came from or who he was inside. A little girl came in with her grandmother one sunny afternoon. "Mister, are you the man who found pirate treasure?" she asked with wide, curious eyes. Tommy laughed and knelt down to her level kindly. "Not pirates, but something similar. I found buried gold while doing my job. It taught me that honest work leads to good things eventually, sweetheart." The grandmother smiled and thanked him warmly. After they left, Tommy walked outside to his own garden. He had planted a special oak tree here in memory of that incredible day. A small plaque at the base read, "Honesty and hard work always pay off." Tommy Rodriguez, June 2023. He touched the tree's rough bark gently and smiled with deep contentment. Sometimes he still couldn't believe his life's journey completely. A simple gardener had become famous across the entire country. But fame didn't change who he was deep inside. He still loved dirt under his fingernails. He still found peace among growing plants and flowers. Money was nice, but it didn't define him. His character, his choices, and his heart mattered much more than gold ever could. Tommy looked up at the blue sky above. Birds sang in the oak tree's young branches beautifully. Somewhere in New Jersey, 3 more treasure boxes remained hidden and lost. Maybe someone else would find them someday somewhere. But Tommy hoped whoever found them would be honest too. Because treasure wasn't just about gold bars and money. Real treasure was living with honor and helping others. That was the greatest discovery of all, he now knew for certain.